I don't want her to feel like she just has to go out and get a job, and then 2 years from now she's still in that same job, and she's like, oh, crap, you know. If I would have just invested a little bit more time, I would have been able to get, like, the job or the career. And I want to sort of bring her along in that journey. I don't want her to be surprised by it, and I don't want to have a blow-up, you know, like I know my husband's going to at one point. So I'm trying to balance him, too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to say to him, it's okay. We can be patient a little bit longer. She's doing the right stuff. You know, in fact, just this last week, she had 3 informational interviews, which was awesome. Oh, by the way, with a woman that I introduced her to 2 weeks after she was back. So 3 months ago, it took her 3 months to reach out and schedule this informational interview with this woman who works at HHS, Health and Human Services, which is a fantastic fit for her job. Took her 3 months to actually make that phone call to set that up.
And how are you feeling as you're telling me that? You know, you'd introduced her within 2 weeks of her coming back, and 3 months later she's been able to have the interviews. What's that feeling?
I have 3 things that come to my mind: frustrated, confused, and relieved.
Okay.
At least she finally did it, and I didn't do it for her, right? The only thing that I did was I introduced them over email. That's it.
Okay. So thank you.
I was like, I'm gonna put the vegetables on her plate. She's got to eat them.
Well, thank you for explaining so fully why it's important. I'm also curious, what would you like out of this session today? What result would you like?
You know, I think I'd like to get a bit more clarity on, I don't know, I'm going to ramble for a minute, so bear with me. Mm-hmm. I would love to get a bit more clarity on what I think is the right time. That being said, I'm not sure that's a realistic goal. Maybe a more realistic goal is to have some perhaps epiphanies or awarenesses that help me be more comfortable with just where we are, right? We learned a lot in coaching about kind of being in the moment. Mm-hmm. And I draw on those lessons and those techniques quite a bit throughout this whole, you know, kind of situation of her being home. That doesn't mean it's easy. You know, it's kind of a constant struggle, daily struggle. And perhaps just being a bit more relaxed and okay with the fact that this is where we are. Even while I know if it goes on like forever and ever, amen, 4 months or 4 years, you know, because you hear these horror stories about people whose adult children came back and they never leave. I certainly know that's what I don't want for her and from her. So maybe a bit more clarity on where I stand and comfort in working through this day-to-day struggle.
So I'm curious as to the type of conversation you've had with her about this topic.
You know, I do, honestly, I actually try and use a lot of our coaching training. Mm-hmm. And use the powerful questioning, open-ended questions, because I do not want to come across as if I'm the expert and I'm telling her what to do. Clearly I have a point of view about what she should be doing. She's not necessarily doing it. But I don't want that for her, right? Because we learned in coaching that's not helpful. The person needs to come to it on their own. And so I use a lot of powerful questioning, you know. How did that go? How did that feel for you today, Caitlin? You know, what were you proud of, you know, about that particular activity that you did? I give her a lot of reinforcement. Wow, I'm so glad you were able to meet with Victoria, you know, on Friday, the woman that I introduced her to over email 3 months ago. You know, tell me a little bit about that conversation. So I do a lot of that stuff and give her space to kind of reveal what she wants to reveal. That's been most of what it's been.
And have you expressed your wish for her?
I have expressed my wish for her in terms of an outcome, not